purchased this guitar from Amazon and it came pretty well wrapped, but there is, I don't know if you can see that, there's a little bit of damage there, a little bit there. Now if I was painting this in a solid colour it wouldn't be a problem because I could just fill that. It's supposed to be maple, but it feels really light. Other than that, the actual routing of the actual pickups, etc., and all the holes seem to be pretty good. These are all in correct angle by the look of it. Routing on the back is really nice. Just a shame about that. I might be able to have to sand that or maybe steam that out somehow, I don't know yet. Just, when I first got it I was actually going to paint it in gold, but now seeing the grain I think I'm going to actually stain this red and then do a red candy over the top. I bought the neck separately. It's actually, if you can see that, quite nicely made. It's got the Gibson style scallops at the top. Nice truss rod. The inlays are really nice. I'll just zoom in on this so you can have a proper look. There you go, as you can see, really nice. It probably is just plastic, not real mother of pearl for the price. The frets look right, quite nice and polished, a bit sharp on the end, so we'll be dressing all these, but binding all along the edges as well. It's got a plastic nut, so I may change that. I'll see how it goes. Staying in focus, yeah. We'll see how we go with that. I may swap it out for a bone nut, I don't know yet. But yeah, I think the inlays are quite nice. I think they are just plastic, as long as it's not the old crappy toilet seat plastic, it'll be fine. It's completely unfinished. The actual fretboard needs treating as well. I think it's rosewood. It's got some strange marks in it here, but they may go enough. Put some lemon oil on it or whatever. Really sharp. You can actually hear that, how sharp they are. So they all have to be dressed and smoothed off. For the tuners, I've got some Epiphone original tuning pegs, but the holes are a 10mm, so I'm going to have to get some adapters to bring that down as well, make it a lot smaller. I think you'll agree that'll look quite nice. The right way around. There we go. Should look quite nice. I think I'm just going to go directly on with the cherry red, and then I'm going to do the candy over the top of that, but I'm actually going to go heavier with the candy around the outside and on the back and the sides to give it that more of a sort of almost like a sunburst look. The die has arrived from Crimson Guitars. See the logo there, really good stuff actually. I thought it was a solvent base, but it's actually water based, so should be even better. I won't open it yet until I'm with the guitar. I don't want to spill anything on there. And then I've also got the finishing oil, which you can get to a nice gloss finish as well. You apply it, I think you apply it with something like a 1200 grit papers for the best effect, but I'll probably only use this on the neck because the body is going to be with candy and lacquer after the red dye. And the candies arrive from Earls. As you can see, it's a really small little packet, but that's all you need. A few little drops in your clear coat and then you build up your colour slowly. I think, is this a powder? Which is fine. A lot of my pearls now come as powders. I might even just do a little touch of this glazurite pearl. It's a multi-effect pearl. I might do a little bit of that on the just on the outside edge and maybe on the back, I'm not sure yet. Been thoroughly sanded and I've masked off the headstocks. I'm only going to stay in this front section here. I've used little ear defenders for the holes. It's got a nice little tip and they expand out to fill the holes so I don't get any dye through there, hopefully. If I do, I can always just sand it back off. I've sanded the entire body, but the dent is still there. let that dry, and then we'll give that a good another flat, maybe a couple more coats just to build up the colour a little bit. I may even go slightly darker around the outside edge. Another 2 coats, still a little bit wet. As it dries, it does dry a little bit redder. I'm really impressed with that. It's come out really nice, the grain's standing out nice. I'm going to let that dry, then I'll flat it again. Once I've done the headstock as well, then a couple more coats on that. Colour match isn't too bad actually. It looks very orange on here, but in real life it's actually quite red. So I had a bit of a rethink on the neck. I was going to leave it the natural wood colour, but as you can see I've actually dyed it the same as the body. As this was against the actual body, it looked unfinished. It didn't look like it was part of the actual guitar. It looks a little bit stupid, so I've masked off the actual fretboard, and now I'm going to oil the neck just for a nice smooth sort of semi-gloss finish with the Crimson Guitars penetrating finishing oil. I'll probably do 3 or 4 coats. You apply it with a 1200 paper, just wet and dry paper, to get a nice smooth finish. It smells quite nice. Yeah, I think you have to leave it till it goes to like a almost like a tacky finish. It's got like a resistance to it, and then I'll buff it off with a nice cloth and then reapply. I'll probably do 4 or 5 coats, I think, get a nice finish. Paper towel, I think. Let's see if I can buff that up. And then we'll do another coat of actual penetrating oil on this. Feel a lot smoother. Don't mind it taking some of the dye off. It looks less obvious than the natural finish. Oops, alright. Yeah, it feels lovely. Just for 1 coat, feels really nice. There's a scratch there as well, wasn't there? I should have really done this before the stain, but you live and learn. And then I'll probably restain the entire back of the guitar again, I think. Yeah, I might have to do another line there, I think. Don't play with it, leave it alone, let it dry. Turn a bit more in there. Yeah, it's a lot better. Concentrate on that area first, if I can just restain that there. Still there a little bit. It looked like a knot in the wood. That would be ideal. Which I don't think it looks too bad now. Once I get the clear coat and the candy on it and I've flattened it back to a flat finish, I don't think it's going to look too bad. Better than a massive dent in the thing. see, the guitar's dried to a nice hard finish. So the next stage is to give it a good flat. As you can see, I've started there, couldn't resist. We've got to get all this raised wood grain down, make a nice smooth finish for the final clear coat, probably 3 or 4 coats, then we'll flat that again, and then we'll polish that up. Okay, so I've done a lot of wet flatting. In fact, I've flatted the entire body, gone through a little bit there, but I think I've got a way of fixing that. Because on the front, the grain wasn't as enhanced as it is here, because I think I went slightly dark with the candy on the back. So what I've done, I have sprayed satin black aerosol over the top and then wet flatted it all off. Just wet this up so you can see what it looks like with the lacquer on it. It's really brought the grain out like that. You can see that now. Oop, the camera. I think you'll agree. Oh, it's bloody lovely. I've faded a little bit of black around the edge here as well. Just a little bit of black aerosol, and on the edge here, but I am going to flat the actual central part of this out here, just to actually bring the colour through there, so it's going to be like a fade, darker, and then into light, then back into. It's got that nice sunburst look. Again, it should look like a knot in the wood, in theory. Just add a little bit of detail, fine head pen. Some general lines. Yeah. Okay. So now I think the body's pretty much ready for the next stage, which was going to be the clear coat. So the guitar's over on the bench, and what we're going to be doing is using a 1500 paper, it's pretty fine, and my rubber flatting block. Get these up from pretty much any hardware store now. You can use them for wood, etc., but they've got a nice flat surface, so you can get a really nice flat finish when you're sanding. And then again, just with some little bit of water, just spraying it on there like that. You don't soak it too much. And then we're just going to gently sand away top coat of clear, removing the orange peel. Give it a nice flat finish, which is the Fast Cut Plus. Put some of that on the actual body, and then I'll go over with my heavy duty machine polisher. It's quite a heavy one, this, with the green stage head. We end up, after the first going over, with something like that. It brings the shine back. This is just actually cutting the surface. After this we'll refine the actual surface with a finer polish, and then we'll finish off with the ultimate polish, and then we'll give it a good coat of wax to protect it. Yeah, as you can see, that's coming up quite nice. Still a few little pinholes. I might just see if I can flat out. You can see them on camera. Give you a closer look. It's just after one pass. Just imagine a good hour or so of polishing all through the stages. That'll bring it up lovely. Nice reflection in there already. There's a couple of little pinholes there. Might be able to flat those out. You can see that's polishing up quite nicely. So what I'm going to do now, this is a bit of a hole there. I'm going to just use a little bit of super glue. It's just standard super glue you can get from any place. I just dispense a little bit onto a bit of cardboard. I'm using this dental pick just to apply it into the hole like so. I'll let that dry. Same as these little ones here. Quite a few little grain holes on here actually. I'll let that dry and then again we'll go over with the 1500 wet just to flat those back. Yeah, really happy with that. Okay, so I'm going to do a bit more wet flatting now, get all the edges all tidy. You've got more work to do on the back, a little bit more super glue to do on that bit there. Other than that, I'm really happy with how that's going. Back on with the neck, and the actual spacers have arrived. These are from Northwest Guitars. I think they're about £5, not a massive amount of money. Fit perfect in there. Really nice against the wood, I think, the gold. Yeah, lovely, really nice fit, perfect. So let's try one of the tuners. Yeah, lovely, perfect. So yeah, I'm pretty happy. So what I've actually done is actually bolted the neck on. So it's almost like a complete guitar now. All the tuning pegs are in place. And also jack plugs arrived. So that's going to look really nice in there, fits lovely. A nice tight fit. So it looks lovely in there. I've got the screws to go in there, but I'll wait till I get the wiring kit for that. Right, so it's been a few days. As you can see, pickups have arrived. They're all in. The volume and tone buttons are all on as well. Just gone for the classic sort of gold look. And we're all wired up, all ready to go. The wiring wasn't too bad actually. I found a nice little diagram online. Pretty much all there. These are Alnico vintage humbuckers from Northwest Guitars. It's the ones I was looking at on eBay I missed out on. It's nice to have the plastic protective thing on there. That was really nice. Yeah, so I'm pretty happy with it so far. So what I'm going to do next, you can see it all, it's all working. So what we're going to do next, we're going to get some strings on there. I've gone for the Super Slinkies, Ernie Ball of course. Usually when I get my strats I go for the extra Slinkies which start at an 8. So these are slightly thicker, starting at a 9. I've used these before on a couple of strats before, but I do prefer a thinner string, but as this is a hardtail as well, I think it should be fine. I also, while I was on the Northwest Guitars website, I got some gold screws, as you can see here, and I also got a gold neck plate. And again, it keeps going out of tune. I think that's because they're new strings. I had to adjust the truss rod quite a bit to actually bring the neck flat. It's still quite a high action for me, so if I can't adjust the neck anymore, I may see if I can actually mob the bridge, bring that down a little bit. To be honest, it wasn't that difficult build. The most difficult thing was actually threading the wires through the actual apertures, etc. But I think a Stratocaster is probably an easier build than this because everything's open, of course. I'm not 100% happy with the wiring on the pots yet. They're nice and smooth. The tone isn't fantastic. I think I'm going to have to adjust that. Maybe mod the wiring slightly, have a look online so we can get a better wiring diagram and change that over so I can get a few better sounds out of it. But So if you've liked this video, please like, comment and subscribe, and I'll hopefully see you on the next one.